Yes. So let's start the session. Manish will start the session now. Let other people join. So we have almost close to 20 people now. Almost probably few more will join. So first of all, I like to welcome you all for today's master class. And I'm very sure that you are learning a lot from this master class where we're inviting CEOs, director, best of professionals in their area. The objective of masterclass is to give you new ideas, new dimensions, new thought process, so that you can able to understand more about real estate, construction, finance, and the business world. Okay, so today's masterclass is very very special, and actually I wanted to share that this class I wanted to have very early in the session, but because of some reason we couldn't able to catch up because this class or this session can change your perspective how the business should be operated. Now generally in real estate we don't see innovation, we don't see new thinking, but this is something which is totally new, which can be implemented not only in India, across India, since we have few people from Africa and few people from Asia. So this is a global thing. You can, if you like it, you can implement it. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is how fractional ownership will change the real estate market. So what is a fractional ownership, how it's going to change the market, we'll see in some time. Okay, so today's presentation or the session will be conducted by Mr. Manish Kumar. He's a CEO and co-founder of RealX and Grex, two well-known startups in India, and you can look into online about their success stories. So Manish is a first generation entrepreneur, and he has a great interest and a deep interest in fintech, financial technology. Uh, he's a co-founder of Grex and RealX, both alternative investment platforms. So how they look into it, that they are investment platform. While Grex is a platform for investors to discover co-investing and exit in high growth startup and SMEs, RealX is a platform to buy, sell, and hold fractional ownership in properties. So these are into two different investment type. One is into startup investments, and second is to property investment. Both these platforms are designed as financial markets, and they are based on back-end registry system on blockchain technology. So uh, the company is using blockchain technology, which is something lots of companies are looking forward to. So Manish has always been a disruptive entrepreneur and believes in building platform for participative growth for all stakeholders. He is one of the founding member of global body of fintech called GIFT and co-leads South Asia chapter. He is also member of PEVC and Capital Market Committee for Bombay Chambers of Commerce Industry, BCCI. Okay, and Manish is also an international speaker and a thought leader. Right. So I have shared a lot about him. Of course, he will share more about himself. But let me tell you that today's session will give you a different dimension about the real estate business. And whether you're a civil engineer, architect, entrepreneur, developer, this is something you all should able to understand that any change which comes in to a relatively low tech market can be very useful, and how Relax is doing that. Manish will be able to explain this. So welcome you all. So Manish, we have students from all over India. We have few students from Africa also, which are studying with us. These students are primarily civil engineer, architects, real estate entrepreneurs, real estate developers, people who are working, investors, right? So this is the background of these people, and now I would like to give the control to you, and you can take it over. At the end of the session, okay, we can have a question answer round, and if you have any particular question, you can put it in the chat. Speaker can take the chat and answer it, or else at the end of the session, we'll take it. So we'll start the session, and within I think 30, 35, 40 minutes, we'll close it up, and after that, we'll take a question answers. So I'm sharing the control to the guest. Manish, you can take over.
Okay. So do you still have the presentation away?
Yes, just hold on. Give me 1 minute. I'll have to take it back. Just hold on. Just hold on. Give me. I'll have to take it back. Just hold on. Just give me 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. In the meanwhile, thank you again and welcome everyone to the session. I wouldn't want to take much of your time. Just a second, Abhay, given control over. So you have again given control to me, Abhay.
Yes. You can take a control, and presentation is there. You can use your control system to control the presentation.
Okay. So you will keep running the uploading.
No, you can do
don't-
it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it from yourself. If you see, there is a button which you can do from back and forward.
I can see that now.
Yeah,
Thank
you can see. Yes.
So thank you everyone.
Manish, your video is not coming. So can you just open up this side?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, great. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Can you guys see me now?
Yes.
So thank you everyone for joining today. I would try to justify your time, being with us. How many? I guess everyone that has joined here, is working in the real estate industry, right?
Yes, they are into real estate.
So they are very, very deeply invested with
Yes.
the real estate, and the growth of real estate and the growth of their careers depends on kind of growth of their knowledge pool and the sector itself.
Yes.
All right. So that is nice to know. These guys, so none of them can really talk, right? It's not interactive.
Yeah. No, so they can talk, but at the end of the session, we allow them to speak and talk to them so that they can ask question. They can speak. We can give them control to speak, but they can speak. They can talk to you by chat. So they will ask question, answers, anything by chat.
Okay, so at the end of every slide, what I'll do is I'll go through a small deck just as a marker. I would have liked more interactive, but I would try to adjust with this pace. This model. What I'll do is at the end of every slide, I'll probably take a pause. If there are chat questions, then we'll address that and then we'll move forward. Is that okay? All right. So yes, today we will talk about a fairly new concept called fractional ownership. What is fractional ownership? Essentially, nothing very different. I think you all come from real estate background, so you have tasted it already. When in the most common parlance, when a husband and wife or a father son or two brothers etc. go and buy a property together, that is fractional ownership. In terms of the law, if it is if two people have come together, the property will proportionately belong to the one who has paid the consideration in whatever amount, if it is recorded, etc. in law. So that is the simplest form of fractional ownership that we all know about, etc. So I would just like some chat operation on how many of you are oriented to this much, and how many are not, in that sense. It will help me understand more what are we trying to address, as well as also write down some of the questions that you would like us to address as we go along. That will help. So whenever I encounter a point, I will try and address your questions. I'm going through the chat. So
Yes. So if you understand what Manish is saying, you have to just put in the chat, yes, you understood, or you aware of this model. So I request everyone to put yes or no, whatever. Whenever there's an answer, just put yes or no.
okay. So I think the most encouraging part about this session is most of you are saying yes. So I'm assuming if not the full commercial fractional ownership, you are aware about people buying together, that part. So that is the very basis of fractional ownership. It is kind of new as an industry or as a sub industry that it is shaping up into what can be called a prop tech or a fintech, solution. So I'm happy that you guys are aware, about this, and hopefully excited about this. So I'll go ahead now. So what are the, let's baseline some of the key challenges of property investments, and let's spend a minute there. You guys are all dealing with property investments, and you would, agree with me that it is a very high value purchase. It is, and unlike, when you look at anybody investing, you understand that investment is very different when one invests through a stock market or any other property. When you even, Dhanteras is coming up, so many of you might go and buy something, some gold or silver. The interesting part about buying gold, silver, stocks, everything, all other assets almost, is that you can buy in as small a quantity as you probably like. And many of the other assets are also available digitally. But real estate being the biggest asset sitting under anyone's investment is a very high value purchase. It's a very high involvement purchase, and you can only, most of us, belonging to middle class, can only do it with debt, support. So this is a classic, problem of real estate. So and given that there's a younger millennial generation that is coming up, the whole block concept of real estate is kind of offensive to a certain level, that you just can't buy it digitally. You can't buy it like you buy iPhone. People are buying very high valued items online, etc., and they can also do what is called impulse purchases online, because there is capacity and interest, and that kind of generates into higher sales when it is made available more conveniently. This is not the case with real estate. Real estate, when one thinks about what comes to your mind, it will be a very heavy amount of investment into looking at properties, searching deals, then going, negotiating, then the other parties, you can't buy it with your money, then applying and things like that, and this is too much of a put off for someone. So the classic problem, real estate is a block deal. Then the other risk that and by the way, we let me also baseline. I'm not talking about real estate for the sake of consumption. So what I mean by that is that I'm not talking about real estate that you buy to stay, to live in. That real estate we are not talking as investment. We are talking about investment in real estate, which is beyond the house that you live in, etc. So we are talking about any investment that you do beyond the roof that you live in. That's called investment, and we are talking about how we can invest it differently now. So even if you had to do that investment, it was a block deal. Many of these investments are generally done when an area is not so developed, to take advantage of the price appreciation, and the risk one carries there is the risk of underdevelopment, because the area may develop as projected to you, or just may not, or may take a huge amount of time, and time is money. So it didn't give you the return that you wanted. The other point that I want to highlight here is, most of us, when we do real estate investment, including how I have done it before myself, is so let's say I have some money with me, and I think that this money I should invest in real estate. Let's say I'm a more youngish engineer, and I've been working for 4 or 5 years, and I have developed a corpus of uh, 10 to 20 lakhs. And then one starts thinking about, I should buy a house, or I should, the whole underpinning intent is that I should buy real estate. I should invest in real estate and grow with that real estate. Whether I live or not, I don't know in that. So, and with this, corpus that you have, you start looking around for real estate investment opportunities, and all the opportunities that one gets, to invest in is suddenly you look at anything between 50 lakhs to, 2 crores, to most of the common properties. I'm leaving the luxury ones. And so otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to invest in them. But now you can invest in them because there's a mortgage loan that is allowed, that is made available, and things like that. So let's say, how do you buy it? So you paid 20. Let's take a case of you paid 20 lakhs of your money, which is 20, which became the down payment, and then there is a loan that you took for 80 lakhs, and you bought a 1 crore property. Very nice. What will the property generate as rents? Most of these residential properties, the best rent they can generate is 2.5% of the price that you paid. That is the sale price. That is when that is the best of the residential properties. They will vary. The rent will vary from 1.5 to 2.5 at best. Let's say it is 2%. You are lucky. You get a rent of 2% yield. So that is what we call yield, rental yield. Rental yield is basically the annual rent by the sale price. So your 20-year loan outgo is at 8, or probably 8 to 10%, and your income for 20 years is at 2%. And in 20 years, yes, you will have capital appreciation, but the property will also become old, in some sense. That is the effect of leverage that we have. Leverage is good, but the asset class itself doesn't generate enough rental returns for the money that you invest in. Compare with this, the kind of assets that we bring in have at least a yield of 8%. So we today are running a deal where there's a yield of 10%. So we are talking about moving away from residential to commercial opportunities, commercial properties, which generate better rental yield. And the yield kind of looks like matching your interest rate. So effectively, you paid 20 lakhs, and that 20 lakhs is growing, and the inflow and outflow kind of balance each other. So that is the kind of change that I'm talking about. Uh, a different way of understanding this also is that it kind of became a class problem as well. What do I mean by class problem? Since most of us could not afford to put in, a 40 crore, a 15 crore, or 29 crore, etc. All these deals, which were commercial deals or big ticket item deals, etc., etc., which would have generated much higher returns, were never accessible to most of us, which means we always used all the loan that we could get, all the money that we could generate as saving, and put that into a very low yielding return. And while we paid interest rate of 8%, we generated returns of 2%, and that is very, very bad. And this is what we all have been served all our life, and we have been very happy. Mark my words, capital appreciation will be equivalent. The yield is different. And that yield was not available to most of us because we didn't have the quantum of money to put in to buy those properties in full. But if we could put in, let's say my 20 lakhs into that, then I would be very happy to generate, more better yield, from that. So that is the baseline of what we are going to deal with. Any questions? I would be happy to pause for a minute and take that.
Yeah, any questions? You can put any questions if you have. If you don't have any questions, just say no.
Okay, I will move on now. So why co-invest? So we did talk about the classical problems of real estate investing. So why do we want to talk about co-investing? So when I say co-investment, the other flip side of fractional ownership is co-investment into a property. So fractional ownership of any kind offers you two or three very interesting advantages over full ownership. Anyway, even if you were to if you had 40 crores to invest in a 40 crore property, it is still better to invest your 1 crore across such many such 40 crore properties than invest in one. Why? Number one, it gives you access. So as we say at RealX, together we can buy anything. And that is the power of togetherness. Together we can access any property. Together we can buy any property irrespective of the size or the price. Number two, risk diversification. So what it means is that if let's say there is a problem with one property, anything, it can just be one tenant leaving, or it can be some structural reforms or some repairs or whatever. One problem doesn't affect the full investment at any point in time. And our belief is 90% of your property at all times, property investment, if diversified very well across many types of properties, will remain productive at all points. So not all properties will have problems. Essentially. Number three is it generates, therefore, it generates much better stable income. So you have much balanced portfolio. You have invested very well. You have not lost out on some opportunities completely. You have not bet into one egg, all the time. And even if there are some properties which have certain problems, and it can be different properties at different time, your average occupancy is still better. Number two is that since every investment is done at a smaller ticket size, the investment amounts that we profess is between 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, etc. Your ability to sell that in the market is much better. It's much more easier to to get a property. If you have invested 4 lakhs into a property, it's much more easier to generate an exit at 5 lakhs, rather than if you have invested 40 crores, and you exiting at 50 crores. So it's much more easier. Many people can afford to buy from what you are selling, and that generates much better return potential for you. Again, any questions? So I'll move. Fractional ownership.
So we have one, I think, no question. So I like to ask, since you have asked them, I think I want to ask everyone that, which Manish have said, that suppose you have 3 crore rupees, okay, and you have to invest, you have an option to invest in one property, and you have have an option to invest in 3 property. What you will choose? One of the important question he has asked. So I request everyone to ask, to put their thoughts. If you have 3 crore rupees to invest, whether you like to invest in one property or multiple properties. Please, I request everyone to put, like Vishal say 3 property, Abul say second one 3 property, multiple property, multiple. So everybody is saying multiple. Good. Now the thing is this: how you will, and suppose, so one problem the RealX is trying to solve is investing into multiple properties. So I think they got it. What are you saying, Manish?
Yeah. Just a second. Okay, so most of us did say multiple properties, so they kind of are aligned with the very powerful idea that tomorrow people will be able to buy a portfolio of real estate from whatever funds they actually own, and they don't necessarily need to take debt leverage to own properties, etc. And the way we think about properties itself can change. The way we think about property investing, the way we think about property returns, the way we think about property portfolio, everything can change completely. Now, I will now go deeper. So all the slides, now go deeper and deeper. So just for academic purposes, there are three kinds of models that are there in the market which enable co-investing. The most traditional way of co-investing has been that all the investors pooling their money, they open up a company. It can be a private limited company or a partnership company, and they pull in their contributions to buy share of the company, and and then the company with that money buys the asset. So they become proportional, co-owners of the company. So that is the SPV way, special purpose vehicle way. That has been the most common and traditional way of doing it, and it has been happening for, decades. The second way in which some are approaching it is by registering a SEBI registered fund and then purchasing the asset as a fund. Nothing new about it, but when you do register as a fund, it's a fund. So fund has many other requirements, including that the minimum investment in the fund has to be minimum 1 crore. So it kind of takes away the whole idea, isn't it, about investing smaller amounts and creating your property portfolio. So, but then the fund also allows multiple people to come together and buy, property or properties. So just a second. Yeah. So and the other more innovative way that RealX has brought in into the market is called, in fact, in some sense, it's the most simplest way, but it's called direct deeded property co-ownership. Essentially, if I have to say that, what we do as a model is we have all the co-owners, all the names and proportionate co-ownership and the consideration amount paid as part of the sale deed itself. It's registered that these people are co-owners of the property. These people have paid this much amount towards the consideration amount, etc. And and all of them would have mandated one entity to go and register the property on their behalf. So that is what happens, So there is a property registration done by a single entity. That entity goes ahead and registers the property. In the sale deed, there is a mention which says that this entity which is registering is not the owner. It is only acting on behalf of all the co-owners who are mentioned here. What RealX also did in creating its own model was standardize the sale deed terms and conditions. So there is a certain set of terms and conditions which we call rights and obligations that will apply to all the co-owners, and therefore it kind of becomes much more standardized as a model. So everybody now knows what is their right in terms of when they have to purchase, when they have to sell, etc., and made it standard. So everybody comes in and has the same right and obligation towards the deal. So it kind of becomes a more standard way that you can transact, and it is not what they call over the counter negotiated this thing. That is what RealX has done. So that's the direct deeded way, and in many sense it is very innovative. In many sense, it's the most simplest way to do it. That is what husband and wife go and register in their own name. The only thing that we intervened here also is we got another guy to represent all of them. That's it. Again, any questions here?
They have two questions you can check. Abul has asked, any risk or challenges investing in such way?
No, there is no risk or challenge. It's a way of investing. See, the principal reason is as I said, you're not going to live into the property. In fact, one of our terms also says that you're investing in this property. It is very similar to the way you invest in any other asset. So the notion that we sometimes have about property is that I only want the lock and key. You don't want the lock and key. You wanted to invest in the property for the growth of property, and you wanted your money in terms of returns, etc., etc. That's it. So what is happening is there is a registered deed which says that you are the owner, but you're not the. Since you're not the only owner, everyone has come with standardized rights and obligations, and which includes yours. Which amongst other things also says that until you buy out everyone else, and until you buy out what we call everyone's fractional rights, you will not claim possession of the property. Till that time it will remain with the same terms and conditions. Once you buy out everyone, you can register the property in your name completely as well. So there are no challenges in that. Every deed that you register can have different terms. We have standardized our own terms, and we go and register with those terms.
Ajay has asked, sir, one of the doubt whether land of laws allows co-investment. Land means whether it is allowed.
Okay.
Ajay Sahu has asked this question.
Yeah. So see, I'm not talking about any type of property per se. I mean, whatever is called a property can be registered this way. So land also can be registered this way. Although we have, as a commercial focus, we have not yet focused on land yet.
No, they're saying land of law means it is. Is it allowed by the law?
Yeah, you're registering in the registrar's office. It is allowed by law. That's why I began by saying that if two people can register, the representative registration is also allowed by law.
Okay. Yes, we can go ahead.
So, and that is where RealX had to work a whole lot in terms of finding out various things under various laws that were allowed, invoke them, structure the whole thing, as per the law, various laws that they allow, and then we had to kind of create a model.
So Ajay again asked, do you have a standardized deed? I think
partly yes. So the part of rights and obligations is standardized, and that we call it instrument of partition. So it kind of defines the way in which, again, this is legal term. So it kind of defines the way in which the logical partition of the real estate will be managed and maintained between various parties. So that part is standardized. While in every deal there are payment terms, there are other terms which are part of the specific deal that will keep changing deal to deal. But the rights and obligations will always be standard.
Right. Yes, you can go ahead.
Sachin had a question which I'm trying to struggle with. If I take a loan from a bank and invest in real estate using RealX, is it good source to complete the loan and left me with good amount so that I can invest in another property? How can RealX help me? All right. If you take a loan from bank and invest in RealX, so RealX property. So if you can get a loan from a bank which can give you a loan at a lower rate, then the yield that RealX is promising. So let's say RealX, not RealX is promising. Let's say we have a property which gives you a 10% rental yield, and you are getting a loan from a bank, whether it is a personal loan or whatever loan, from a bank at 8%. Then by borrowing at 8% and investing and getting returns at 10%, you are definitely making money. So that makes a lot of sense. But generally speaking, getting any property in that range will 8% plus is a very difficult proposition anywhere. And we do get deals and we do bring in those deals, which is fine. But the point is, your home loan rate may be today 8%, it may change. So that makes it little riskier. You may still have to service 1 or 2% extra. So it may happen that the property is giving you 8% and the home loan rate or the loan that you have taken is at 11%, and the 3% net is being serviced by you. Now, in case of the in case you have co-invested in a residential property, there is further offset of the income tax that you can claim. So that is one another benefit. You can factor in how much income tax break it got you, and whether it is enough for the 3% or 2% gap, etc. So, but then it is still it may not cover the whole. But if you want to still go ahead and buy, it may cover the yield may cover a large part of the loan interest, and you can get the benefit of capital appreciation from the property. Did I answer your question, Sachin?
Ajay is asking, can we try it in Bhubaneswar? Is assisted by you?
Ajay has been asking this for a long period of time. Ajay will be very happy to do something in Bhubaneswar. So far, we have not begun. So that is, I share the happiness if you want to, begin somewhere. There.
So Ajay, we can do it, and you can connect with the sir later on. Yeah.
Correct. So I'll proceed now. I still have to the deck. So now I'll come to RealX, model, and I'll go a couple of slides into that, since I'm talking about RealX, the advantages of this model and nuances of this model. At RealX, what we offer is legally called equitable undivided co-ownership. Now I'll try to break down this thing. Equitable means proportionate, essentially. So if you have paid enough money to buy, let's say, a 5% share of the property, then you have proportionate right over the property. So when the property is sold, also you will have proportionate, benefits of the price or capital gain, etc. So equitable means that. Undivided is something that you all coming from real estate probably would understand. So let me take in a residential parlance. The clubhouse in any property or any apartment building, the roads in an apartment building, etc., are undividedly owned by the society that the flat owners create, and all the flat owner has an undivided interest in the clubhouse areas and all that areas, etc. And all that undivided interest also goes for commercial monetization when the redevelopment happens into the property. It is exactly the same thing that we also implemented at RealX. So people do not own a certain part, a specific defined part of the property. They co-own the property in an undivided basis. So it is called equitable undivided co-ownership. So equitable means how much you have paid is the proportion that you own. Undivided is the manner in which you own. So you don't own any corner or side and things like that. It is not identified, but you are co-owner. I'll be very happy. This is a deep slide. This is a very legal slide. So the kind of do we register the listing property? Yes, we do register the sale deed. It's in legal terms it is called true sale, and it is registered with the government, etc. So the seller has relinquished all rights over the property once the property is registered. And who has owned the rights? The ones who have paid the money for it, obviously, etc. And however, the intervention that we have done is it is a single registrant on behalf of all the co-owners, and therefore I will come to the benefit of RealX is not just implementing fractional ownership, we are implementing digital property buying and selling as well. So, however, it is not fully digital. There is somebody going on your behalf and doing all that stuff. So it is happening the old school way. Only your experience is digital. So single registrant. In terms of statutory fees, do they apply to it? Obviously, they apply to it. It is a full property buying and selling. So the buyer party has to bear the stamp duty and registration fees. Now, in terms of rights and obligations, all the rights and obligations, as I said, will be part of the instrument of partition, and that part will remain common all across, our properties. So everybody will buy and sell in the same way, or will have the same rights, and it kind of creates a standardized marketplace now. Now, a mention about Frax. We as a platform had to decide to make a more vibrant marketplace. We had to decide to standardize what do we buy and sell here. So we had to give it a name. We had to give it something that people can talk about, and we call it Frax. So in terms of physical area, one Frax represents 1 square inch of an area. So there are, and every square feet has 12 inches by 12 inches. So it has 144 Frax. So if say let's say a flat is of 1000 square feet, or any property is of 1000, offices of 1000 square feet, you can just multiply the number of square feet by 144, and there are as many Frax. So 144,000 or 1,44,000 Frax in that property of 1000 square feet. So so we call it Frax. One Frax in terms of area, undivided area I'm talking about, represents 1 square inch, and number two, each Frax represents all the rights and obligations mentioned in the instrument of partition. So when you buy and sell a Frax of a property, like a share of a company, etc. While we have just given it a name, while you're buying and selling with the full rights and obligations. Are you guys there with me? Any questions will be welcome. We have done this just to make it a lot simpler to transact.
So, have you got what is Frax? Frax is a share for a property which you can buy and then again sell it. So that's why in this model it is creating lots of Frax based on the property, which you can look into the property and then buy the Frax, and then you can sell it at higher price, or based on the document which you are selling it. So if you get it, this idea, just say yes, because it's totally new. It's not there anywhere. So I'm very sure that you might not be able to understand the deep part of it. If you got it, say yes. If you have any issue, you can say. So Ajay is saying, sir, we believe we shall be required to know everything in the sequence wise. So I think next slide you have a sequence that how. So
Okay,
please answer.
Rahul will come to the channel, etc. The sales part, a little later. I am right in the middle of deep of legal stuff, but now this is as deep as we go. Now we will come into procedures, and then we come into the commercial model, part. So yes, that is why Ajay. That is why we are going in sequence, and I'll go to the next slide now. So this slide is heavily legal. I have tried to simplify the concept and explain it to you as deep as possible. But in a nutshell, if I have to say that there is a lot of research that went into building VLX as a model. We wanted to do justice with it, so that if I have to say legally, every co-owner, every buyer, we call them buyer or we call them investor, whatever we call it, has what is called full evidentiary value of their co-ownership that can be established in the courts. And we did not want RealX to come in any way in between the ownership of the investor and the asset. So RealX is only acting as a facilitator. It is not co-owning anything. It is not managing anything. It is just standardizing and giving a place for people to transact. It is facilitating the transaction. So that is all that we kind of do, and that is all that we wanted to do. We wanted people to be able to directly buy properties, and our goal also was to see that can we ensure that they are not inconvenienced and they can buy it digitally as well. Luckily, we had laws and clauses that we could invoke, so that it can be done in the manner that we have now made it happen. Uh, and yes, we have done transaction with this construct, by the way. So why RealX? Now I'll spend a slide probably tom-tomming about our model a little bit more. But no, it is not tom-tomming. This is also part of the explanation of why did we pursue the model, and what is the real gain of this model. One, it is direct ownership of the investor or the buyer. RealX does not own anything into the property. It made it happen fine, but it does not own anything. So it is direct ownership, which is the best thing that we could have given to the investor. Number two, it is heavily tax efficient as a model. To very simply explain this point, the moment you create a company, the other common model of doing any fractional ownership is creating a company and holding it in the company and making everyone shareholder. The moment you create a company, let's say there is a rent that comes and rent has to be given on to you, how will it be passed on to you? As a shareholder, it can be passed on only when the company realizes the rent as the profit of the company, and out of the profits distributes the whole amount as dividends. But before you can do the dividends, there is a tax to be paid on profit to the government, which depending on the type of company will be minimum 25% or 30%. So 25% of the return, 1/4 of the return that you generated has gone straight away as tax. Now, every budget may keep changing that, but principally, the moment you create a legal entity, you create a tax entity as well in between. That is what RealX has avoided now. You don't create any legal entity, you make them direct co-owners. It is proportionate rent that they as co-owners should get, and they get the rent directly. There is no tax entity in between for which the government should be collecting the tax, and that is a difference of 25%. And the same thing applies on capital gains as well. So when somebody is selling, when you sell shares, even if it is demat shares of the company that is holding the property, the stamp duty and registration may be zero, in that case, but if it is dematted. But the capital gains tax on shares or any security is 20.88%. While in case of RealX, if you are selling, the flat rate capital gains applicable without indexation, etc., is 10% of the sale price. So in this case, let's say the maximum capital gain will be 10% of the sale price. Let's take the maximum. 10% of the sale price and 6% stamp duty and registration. How much is it? 16%. And in the other case, how much was it? 20.88, which is 21%. Now look at the 5% difference. 5% out of 16 or 20% would be more than 25% again. So we are up to 25% much more tax efficient. Again, the whole idea is that we only wanted for people to own what they wanted to own and nothing in between. So that is there. Now again, the other benefit is RealX is 100% digital in design. Although as a platform we have not fully built out the platform yet, so it is some parts are still being built out, but that's the setting up part. As a design, RealX is designed to be fully digital in terms of buying and selling. There is since we don't have a company in between holding the asset, there is zero compliance burden of companies. Ultimately, it is the investor who has to take the burden of all these costs. In some way, it will be recovered from the investor. And the last but not the least, it will become very prominent in some time, is we create a blockchain based registry of all the co-owners after the registration is done. And that means that once you are reselling your fractions or fracs, so you may own 60 fracs and you may want to sell 25 out of them to someone, and you are negotiating that, you kind of, the other guy who is buying it does not need a due diligence to be done, because it is already coming from the blockchain that he is the real owner and there is no other owner. So you don't need due diligence at all times, and that way we have made it a lot more simpler and smoother for people to buy. After they do the transaction, we will also facilitate the money and all that, and later on we will also register that certain fracs, certain percentage of ownership has been assigned to someone else. We will do all of that. But when you're doing the transaction, the whole part for the customer can be done digitally. And tomorrow there are more applications. I would kind of avoid that discussion in this session, that blockchain can enable tomorrow as we go along. Any questions there before I go into the process?
What is zero compliance burden?
Zero compliance burden, Abhay, is that we don't have a company in between, so we don't have any company law compliances.
Okay, so it's between two buyer and seller only.
Exactly. So there is no need for company law compliances in our case. And company law compliances, if you guys understand, is getting very complex every day, and very cumbersome and very expensive. Think about us as a platform managing 500 odd properties and 500 companies. We don't have that burden. And who is the beneficiary of not having that burden? Because if there is a burden, the platform is going to recover it from the investor in this way or that way. If we don't have that burden, it is very light on the investor.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead.
I hope you guys are there with me. So anyway, now I'm just placing the whole process in context. We have covered the legal part. We have covered the advantages, the benefits, and what kind of other models are there and things like that. Now I will also talk about our process. The process is fairly simple. That property is vetted by us, and whatever we feel is a good deal, we post it onto the platform. And as I said, fracs is generated, and whatever is the property price by number of fracs is the per fracs rate, and you can buy in multiples of one fracs. So people commit to the amount that they want to buy in a property. If a property succeeds in generating the sale price in total, the commitment to that effect, then the property goes in for the deal goes in for execution. It becomes off air, and once the whole due diligence process, detailed documentation, which is given to a third party lawyer, that is rolled up, that is done, then we ask, in the meanwhile, we then ask people that the property has been fully subscribed. Now you pay the rest of the amount. So we initially only take a small 1% amount as a token of their interest, etc. Minimum is 20,000 though. So or 1%, whichever is higher. So we take that much, and then we take the serious commitment. We then give the people time to cough up the rest of the amount once it is successful, and or otherwise, if the property is not successful, we refund this amount as well. It goes for the sale deed execution. After the sale deed is executed, the seller of the property, it may be a developer or whomsoever, gets the money from us. This money is held into a RBI nominated account for e-commerce players called nodal account. We are also in discussions with banks to convert it into a proper escrow account arrangement, etc. Once the sale deed is again back with us, the whole buyer information is credited to the blockchain, and after that it will start reflecting into the accounts of all the co-owners. They can even download the scanned sale deed with their names, etc., and they can show it to the income tax department. See, I own this much in this one, etc. And they are, the number of fracts that they own is reflected into their account. So that's the purchase transaction part. And in the purchase transaction, there are host of commercial entities that get involved, including a lot of channel partners and things like that, and all that transaction is settled at the purchase part. Now that the property is purchased, what happens at the post purchase level? So the every property will have a designated asset manager assigned. So we work with lot of intermediaries in the process. So they are the people who work on the ground, and who, so asset managers are pre-assigned to a property, or otherwise it is always mentioned that, let's say it is an under construction property, we can't assign the asset manager today. In that case, it will be assigned by RealX and approved, put up for approval by the co-owners. So in any case, once there is a approved asset manager and the property is purchased, then the asset manager is given a formal documentation, so that they can engage with all the prospective tenants or existing tenant and things like that on behalf of all the co-owners, etc. So practically, it is the asset manager whom you can actually go and meet for the property. So if you want to buy that property, you actually can't meet the co-owners because they are dispersed. They nobody knows them. Only person that can be contacted with for anything regarding the property practically is the asset manager. And we believe we will be able to open up this asset manager role as a very big entrepreneurship opportunity for very many brokers, or super brokers into the country. So we think it's a win-win proposition for many. Then the rent is always deposited in the account. A part of rent also goes to the asset manager. So basically, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a model wherein there is a certain fixed income monthly that can be earned by brokers as well, which was the missing piece in real estate so far. And we believe that can make many of the brokers become much more organized units. That is what we believe. All the asset managers are under service level agreements with RealX. So if their quality of service also degrades, they may even be removed, etc. But generally, that is not the case. So what I'm trying to ensure is our investors are not let hanging high and dry after the transaction. There is a function that RealX does. RealX also charges a part of rent. Asset manager also gets a part of rent, and the third part goes towards any repair, maintenance, or any insurances as may become due onto the property. Any questions there?
We have one question from Shubham. Is it like prop share?
Prop share is the SPV model, as I explained earlier. So in terms of is prop share also fractional ownership platform? Yes, prop share is also fractional ownership platform, but only difference is they do it the very traditional way, and we have kind of left that behind. We have come on a very advanced way of doing it, which is 100% doable in digital format. Everything that RealX does, or is constructed upon, is to be done digitally.
Yeah, we can go ahead. Yeah,
and we don't prop share holds it in SPV, and we don't have all that. So much simpler model in that sense. So exit options, this is another question that any investor also asks. See, if a property is a property, and the property will have its own internal value. It doesn't matter how many people own it. You guys agree, right? So, there would be propositions that the asset manager will keep getting, about a full property sale or a buyout. That is the job of the asset manager, to get a very good rate for a property, and any bona fide deal that the property that the asset manager is able to negotiate. It has to be placed in front of the co-owners, and the co-owners vote for whether they want to take or not. In the rights and obligations, as per current rights and obligations that we have, a 51% agreement on any vote means the agreement goes through, including sale. So if 51% by ownership, of the co-owners want the sale to be proceeded, the sale will be done, and this is as per even property laws as well. So if we have put in that clause, it is valid that it will be done, because the clause was put in before they invested, etc. So full property sale is a very distinct proposition. However, we also will enable people to buy and sell fractional parts of the property. So fracs buying and selling will also be enabled, and that is why we kind of broke down the whole property into smaller units called fracs, so that people can buy and sell it in those smaller units, etc. So fractional sale will also be enabled onto the platform, and all that will be processed, by RealX. Any questions? Ajay, there is, we are not, so let me put it this way. We are not a scheme that you put in money to us and etc. etc. What we are only trying to say is this: there are properties which were very difficult to acquire or to invest. The risk of investing of the property remains. The tax of being a investor in a property still remains. Nothing changes except that RealX model allows you to become a co-owner in a property with a smaller amount. That is all that we enable. So if you could, if otherwise you would have invested, nobody would have given you a guarantee that once you want to exit, you will get a certain rate. Similarly, if you today want to exit out, no, but there is no guarantee that you will be able to exit out immediately. So it is not a, although we have made it as digital and things like that, it is not a share that you trade on an exchange. Even in terms of companies, the companies that are not traded on the exchange have the same risk. That you may own that, but exiting that is as much a challenge. However, having said that, I believe that given a good price, given a good discount, I think the fractional sale will work very well on the platform. Any more questions? No more? Okay. I'll go to, since you all come from real estate background, I thought I'll add this slide into this deck. So our proposition for the real estate industry per se, there are two types of players that are there in the industry that we need to partner with. One is the organized sellers, which is the developers themselves, and number two is obviously the intermediaries, who will help us principally sell the deals that we bring in online onto the platform. So channel partners. So with the developers, there are two kinds of offerings that we give. One is they can become our platform partners, or we can become their platform fractional ownership platform partner, wherein we charge a flat rate of 1% of the sale price. It is as simple as that. We are a truly digital model. We don't need to charge very high, but in this case we are not, this is without any sales commission being paid to us. The other model is not the other model. The other part of the deal is for whatever sale that we generate, through our platform, through our investors, etc., etc. Obviously our channel partners are also there and things like that. There would be a sales incentive that we will negotiate, but that will be per deal to deal basis. So that may keep changing. However, for whatever sale the developer itself generates, we will only charge 1% flat, and that's an open invitation price given to being given to developers. although very selectively. So we are not, dealing with every developer.
So Manish, you're saying, so suppose I'm a developer and I want to use your platform to sell my property, or rather saying to give them the structure of the fractional ownership, right?
Even
So
fractional ownership is property,
yeah, so
yes.
basically, suppose I have a commercial shop, turned commercial shop, I can make it to lakh of fractional fracs and sell it through your platform. So you will help them in organizing everything
Correct.
and doing all the legal diligence, right?
Correct. Correct.
And I might have my own customers, but they will come through you, right? And you will
Correct.
create all the structure. So basically, today, if I'm selling my one property at 1 crore rupees, I might sell it to the same property to 10 people at 10 lakh rupees, right?
Correct. Because there are so many people who visit a property,
Yes,
they are
yes.
hardly interested, and most of them go away because the conversion is very low anyway. For a high.
So basically, you're saying that with RealX, a developer can offer fracs to its customer where they can invest in the property as low as 1 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees, and they get the benefit, same benefit what a full owner is getting, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so this is very, very important, guys. Since suppose a developer want to have raise money for selling 5 flat and one shop, and the shop costs 1 crore rupees. In a difficult time, it is very hard to get one customer. But with the RealX, okay, you can divide it and you can sell at lower cost to different people. The RealX will help you out in doing all the activity, right?
Correct. And we have our own share of this thing. So what we don't compromise is our processes, etc. That is why we are also very selective in the developers part and the due diligence part, etc. So this is given wherever we feel the deal is nice and things like that. So that way, but then the principal position is that we don't want too much of commission, etc. We are talking about a flat platform usage.
Yes.
you know
Yes,
so
yes.
we offer it as a platform to every developer to enable their properties to be sold in fractions.
So basically, if I generate 1 crore rupees sales from your platform, you charging 1 lakh rupees, something like this for
So
the consultation.
let me give you an example. So if you are a sole selling agent of the developer, we don't have to deal with the developer also. I can deal with the sole selling agent as well. Because
Okay.
his responsibility is to sell the property, and how it got sold. For fractional ownership, it is another way in which it got sold,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I can just tie up with him, and this is a very doable, partnership commission. That. So basically, we want to work with, our partners to enable it for their customers.
Right. One is this, and second, you're saying suppose developer do not have their own people or own investors or someone who buys it, you will help them in reaching your customers, and in that case, there will be some sales commission which will be negotiated between you and developer, right?
Yeah, so anyway, they all anyway give sales commission.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, right, right,
that is not this thing. So we thought so whenever a property deal is struck, the idea would be we and developer working in parallel. Not, and when
right,
I'm saying developer, they also have their own channel partners,
right,
etc.
right, right.
We don't want to be someone who is a different set, doesn't work with their existing guys. So that's why we offered that we will take only 1%. So don't think that is a deterrent. Introduce this thing into all your network. For the sales that you and your network generate for any property, there will be a mix of both. Sales, which there are investors who may come from RealX side, which the developer or his network didn't originate, and there may be investment that has been generated by the developer and his network himself. So for the developer part, only 1%. For this part, the sales commission as was negotiated. Because
Okay.
I need to pass on sales commission to my channel partner, which I'll talk next.
Right, right. Yes, please carry on. Yeah.
So 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 yes, as you might have already read onto the slide. Please don't take photographs of the slide, etc. We have been able to pass on. So what has been the range? So we have property today, which is generating a yield of 10% as well, and we have been able. It has taken us some time, but we have been able to establish ourselves such that we can pass on the sales commission up to 4%. So generally it will vary deal to deal, but we have the ability to pass on. We are running deals today also which have the sales commission ranging from 2.5 to 4%. Depending on the amount of sales done. So that is the kind of deals or channel partnership we are talking about. We wanted to create a model wherein everyone can plug in and everyone can kind of become partner. We break down the whole thing of how you own or buy a property, so the customer is happy, the channel partner is happy, and obviously RealX is happy. We ourselves operate on a thin layer. If I have to offer a sales commission of up to 4% to my channel partner, you can understand basically RealX is keeping nothing, next to nothing. But the whole game is that RealX is a game of scale. We made it digital so that we can scale. So the whole idea would be there would be volume, commissions that we will be able to generate, etc., etc. But we don't want to take anything away from our channel partner.
Okay. And what are the other benefits you give it to the channel partners? What like you said that they also, once they becomes a property manager, they will be getting a recurring.
That will be a different one because he has to be a property manager, and there would be very selective property managers.
Okay, okay.
So the property managers who are selling, who are also channel partners, they also will be getting part of the rent. So, but then that is the property manager function also. That
function also, yes.
Yeah. So they don't get it because they were property managers.
Okay, okay.
So that way. So these as in terms of agreements also, these are two different agreements that we sign.
Okay. One is channel partner, another is a property manager.
Asset manager, yeah. One is pre-purchase, which gets settled the moment the deal is done, and the asset manager piece begins after the deal is done.
After deal is right. Yes. Now we can go ahead next.
Yeah. Any questions? I will be happy to answer.
Yeah, we'll take it once the session is going to finish.
Yeah, we're done.
You're done. Great. Okay. So now, guys, if somebody like to speak, I can put the mic on. You can speak. You can give me the request. Manish, we have one question from Saad Inamdar. You can see that. Let's say the existing co-owner wants to exit before completely property sale. Will he has the choice to choose the buyer for his own fracs? If yes, will RealX cap the price of the fracs, or both parties can make a deal mutually agreed price, like as it's an individual owned property? Yeah.
Very good question, Saad. I would love to introduce Saad here. He's a very recent intern with us. He's also learning. So he just joined us 2 days back. So this is his first session as well. So good question, Saad. As I said, we only wanted to standardize, facilitate, and oversee, the intermediary. That's it. And the property that you co-own is your asset. So you can sell it, bequeath it, whatever you want to do, you can do with it. Only things that we restrict is until you own 100% of the fracs, you cannot go and claim possession, which is very logical because there are other owners also, etc. So therefore, what also follows is there is no restriction that RealX will pose on any price that you want to sell your property on. We are a free market. We wanted to enable our investors. In other models, let's say somebody mentioned prop share. If you own a share of a company, you can't sell it until the company's management approves that. So they control it. In our model, there is no way we can control it legally also. So that's my personal ID. Don't write there. Just write at hi@realx.in.
Okay. If somebody like to touch in with you, what they need to do?
So, and my co-founder Meera also is here. So
can you give some mobile number so that they can give you a call? Anyone they can reach up to you.
Yeah. So Meera, can you type the mobile number, please? If you are listening. In the meanwhile, I'll answer my
Yes.
And any other questions that anybody has?
Yes.
I'm just going through the chat.
Now you are open for questions. We require you guys to answer it.
Yeah, so Neera has shared her number and her
Yes.
email ID as well. So please do reach out, and we would be happy to work with you guys. So we have done a whole lot of work, by the way, on the developer side. We are negotiating some very good properties at the moment, and obviously, Ajay, we would be happy to do something in Bhubaneswar if you see the market there, etc. And anyone else who would want to talk.
Yeah, Rahul, you can speak now. I have given the access to you, Rahul. Rahul want to speak. Just hold on. Rahul Salunka, you can take the mic and speak. And other people, they can put in the chat if they want. I can ask them. See, this is a very innovative platform. If you like to work with RealX, want to know about it, want to see how you can utilize it, you can always reach them. And this is the whole objective of IREF, to bring innovative things in front of our students, professionals, so that they can use this for their benefit. That is the whole objective. And people who are learning, who are new, they have to start understanding all these things, because this will change the industry. Okay, it is not that we are talking anything which is academic. It is something which will change the industry. So you have to understand all this and able to see the impact. Yes, sir. Rahul, can you speak?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I just wanted to know, is there any government intervention in this work?
What kind of intervention, Rahul? There is no government intervention except that the properties are legally registered with the government registrar's office. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the legal registration itself takes care of everything, right? So.
Okay. And how the clients, how the customers, your office, otherwise the facilitator and the agents are interlinked with each other? In which way?
They don't have to interlink with each other. It's like, in any platform, you don't have to talk to other people. You have to just invest, or you have to just decide on your own part. That's it. And you can look at the property, you can decide to invest on the property, you commit on the property digitally. Although initially we are talking to every customer, that is okay, but that is only initially because it's a new model, right? So but other than that, the whole idea is it will be digital. Nobody needs to talk to anyone.
Okay. So for getting all this information, do we need to reach to your office for in detail, or is there any website or something like that where we can get all the information and proceed further?
Look at the slide that you can see, the site URL is there, realx.in.
Yeah, you can see the realx.in, and the team has given their contact information. I think Neera has given the contact
Yes, that's
information.
right,
You can
sir.
reach them out. You can reach them
Thank you
out.
very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyone else like to speak? I want any of the student like to speak, because I'm not very sure whether they're able to get it or not. But Sandeep, Vinod, P. Shekhar, Sachin, any comments? Do you think it can change the industry? That is the whole motive. Do you think it can change the industry? Yes or no? Is it possible that you can buy a property in Navi Mumbai or a Mumbai in 5 lakh rupees and get the same benefit? This can do it. So do you think it can change the industry? Gurudev, if you think it can change the industry, say yes. Ajay saying very interesting. Yes, it is possible. Sachin say I found it very interesting. Okay, Sachin. Rahul has asked what is the least amount and the max amount one can invest. Manish?
Okay, I'll show you guys. You guys need to see it to believe it.
Yes.
So I'm now showing you an actual sale deed.
Yes. So you can see the actual sale deed. Yes, please.
Yeah. So you see, we have created this entity RealX Trust 1, which says this is the address and things like that, acting as a representative and ostensible owner. Ostensible owner is a Transfer of Properties Act construct as defined under Section 41 of Transfer of Properties Act on behalf of all the equitable co-owners as listed in Annexure B. So the one who is registering is only acting as a representative and ostensible owner on behalf of all the co-owners. It is not registering or owning it. It is not registering to own it. Okay. And yeah, Neera here was representing that entity, on behalf of everyone. And then these are just the important pages, important sections. This is what you see as instrument of partition. And everything is sealed. It is part of the deal, and instrument of partition runs into many pages. And you see there are 19 people who invested in this with their PAN card, Aadhaar, their own contributions, etc., etc. So now you can, I think this will help in you kind of believing it.
Yes. So I think this is the first time you seeing this document. I think this is the first time in Indian history that we have this kind of document possible by RealX, and that's why we believe that it can change the real estate industry. It just required the right people to be working with, right mindset.
So Sandeep, are you in real estate? Are you a developer? So please connect with Neera. She has shared the number. We would be very happy to talk about projects. We really wanted to help the whole industry. Many buyers are just not interested. It is just not affordable, or whatever is affordable does not give returns enough, etc. We wanted to make it more affordable for everyone.
So Chidanand is our student. He's an architect student. He stays in Bangalore. Chidanand, you can connect them individually if you want to work with them or want to know more about it. So he can do that. I think Shubham is there. Shubham is a developer. Shubham, you're there. He's out now. So Shubham is kind of a developer who is developing certain properties.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's just logged out. Okay. Great. Sandeep Bhati says this idea is very unique and will change the whole market in Delhi NCR. So
we
Sandeep,
have a list of Delhi NCR. In case Sandeep, you are a part of Delhi NCR circuit, you probably would be aware about the Omax Chowk deal, which is in Chandni Chowk, and we are also running that deal in fractional. So we have tied up with Omax for that as well.
So Sandeep, you can connect them, and if you like to help them out or if you like to see the opportunity, you can connect them. The idea is that you should able to understand the new concepts and see where you can utilize it. And this is the very first time we are introducing to students and new people. And if you start, accepting it and start utilizing it right now, you will be far ahead than others, right? So
Guys, innovation is here and innovation is going to happen. We have made it happen. We have registered, you saw a registered property deed anyway. And this is only going to grow. But at the same time, humbly saying that we can only grow when we have very good partners. So, in our discussion that I was having with Abhay said, "Why don't you educate my own, gang, and let's see what emerges from there." So, I'm very happy to be amongst you and to explain to you. So we'll connect. Whomsoever wants to connect, you have.
Sandeep ji, can you put your phone number here? I can share them, but if you can put it, they can take it from here. Sandeep ji, Sandeep Bhati ji, just put your mobile number here. They will take it. Yes, Sandeep has given the mobile number. You can take it from there. So thank you very much, guys. It was a wonderful session. I think you will take some time to understand it, but do visit the website realx.in. I think it can change the game. and be in touch with this the concept, be in touch with their team. And I'm very sure, since we all are from real estate, you will see booming it later, sooner or later, and you might can utilize in your own project, or you might introduce this concept to someone else. Okay.
Correct.
Right. So that will be a great leverage for an innovative thing. Okay.
Please follow us at Hello RealX at social media as well, and please spread the word. That will help, because we post a lot of possibilities, how we work, and every small nuance of what RealX is and how it works. This session was too small to cover everything in detail, but we do a lot of that on the digital media. So please be there with us there, because we will keep talking there as well.
Great. So people who are there, how was this session? Did it given you some insights? If you got some insights, say yes, and then we'll close it. So I request everyone to give the thumbs up or whatever feedback, and we can close. Yes, no. Rahul, Ajay, Saad, Daniel, Vinod, Sandeep, Vishal, Sachin. I request everyone to put their words. Yeah, so they have really loved it, and any one of you like to work with them, you can always connect with them, and I really appreciate everyone that you all are here and understanding this. Let me tell you guys, when something new comes up, you have to understand and you have to innovate. If you see the IT, every day something is new. In the real estate, nobody is talking about new, and it's a policy of IREF to introduce new things, which gives you challenge, which gives you understanding that this can be a possibility. Okay, so we have given a poll, right? So thank you very much, and we'll surely get back to you. We'll share this presentation and the video to all of you, and you can again get back to them.
Yep. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Neera, enlightening our students. And I'm very sure this session will help them, and this session will help you to spread your wings. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night and happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Good night.